Hello dear students, today we are going to start class 10 economics chapter 2 sectors of the Indian economy part 2. Students, in this part we will cover introduction, gross domestic product GDP, historical change in sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary sectors in India, rising importance of tertiary sector in production, share of sectors in GDP, share of sectors in employment and unemployment. So these topics we will discuss in this part. Students, before starting this part, let us recall the contents we discussed in previous part. Students, as we started the chapter, we discussed about different economic activities. Those take place in different sectors of the economy. Students, we have seen that three sectors are there of the Indian economy, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. In these sectors we have seen people are doing different kinds of activities. Now once we will recall what kind of activities are taking place in these sectors. Students, when we produce a good by exploiting natural resources, it is an activity of primary sector. It is also called agriculture and related sector. The next sector we have seen, that is secondary sector. It covers activities in which natural products are changed into other forms through ways of manufacturing that we associate with industrial activity. We have also seen the sector, that is tertiary sector. It is the third sector of Indian economy. Students, in this we have seen that these activities by themselves do not produce a good, but they are an aid or a support for the production process. So in this we have seen that services are provided. So students, in this way all the sectors we have seen on the basis of economic activities. We have also seen that these sectors are interdependent on each other. For the functioning of the economy, their dependency is there on each other. So for their functioning they depend on each other. That also we have discussed. Later on we have seen that how to compare the three sectors. We have also seen how the value of these products are counted. Then after we have seen that the value of only final goods and services are counted in GDP. Students, what is GDP? Now here once again we will discuss about the value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provides the total production of the sector for that year. And the sum of production in the three sectors give what is called the gross domestic product GDP of a country. It is the value of all final goods and services produced within a country during a particular year. GDP shows how big the economy is. So students, GDP, as we discussed, it is a monetary measure of the market value of all final goods and services produced in a period within a country. So students, in this way we have seen GDP. Now in India, the mammoth task of measuring GDP is undertaken by a central government ministry. This ministry, with the help of various government departments of all the Indian states and union territories, collects information relating to total volume of goods and services and their prices and then estimates the GDP. So this task is undertaken by the central government ministry. So students, this is the GDP that tells us about the condition of economy of the country. Now historical change in sectors. Students, generally it has been noted from the histories of many Now, developed countries that at initial stages of development, primary sector was the most important sector of economic activity. In the initial state, we have noticed that in all the countries, the primary activity was mostly done by the people everywhere it was, because there was less development of other sectors. Students, why the historical change is prevailing now? As the methods of farming changed and agriculture sector began to prosper, it produced much more food than before. Many people could now take up other activities. There were increasing number of craft persons and traders. Buying and selling activities increased many times. Besides, there were also transporters, administrators, army, etc. However, at this stage, most of the goods produced were natural products from the primary sector, and most people were also employed in this sector. So, students, in this way, we have seen the changes in the primary sector. Over a long time, more than 100 years, and especially because new methods of manufacturing were introduced, factories came up and started expanding. Those people who had earlier worked on farms now began to work in factories in large numbers. That is because of the increasing importance of secondary sector. People began to use many more goods that were produced in factories at cheap rates. Secondary sector gradually became the most important in total production and employment. Hence, over time, a shift had taken place. This means that the importance of other sectors had changed. Now, students, earlier primary sector was getting importance. Nowadays, secondary and tertiary sectors are increasing their importance. So these two conditions we have seen, where we have seen changes in primary sector and secondary sector. Now let us see what is the condition of tertiary sector. In the past 100 years, there has been a further shift from secondary to tertiary sector in developed countries. The service sector in developed countries, the service sector has become the most important in terms of total production. Most of the working people are also employed in the service sector. This is the general pattern observed in developed countries. Students, in developed countries, mostly people, they are engaged in tertiary sector. They are educated people. They are skilled and trained people. So they are engaged in tertiary sector. When we see the economy, and when we will compare the developing and developed countries, then we will see that in developing countries, mostly people are engaged in primary sector. But when we will see the developed countries, then we see that mostly people are engaged in secondary and tertiary activities. That is the difference between the developing country and developed countries. Now, students, what is the total production and employment in the three sectors in India? Over years, we have there been changes similar to the pattern observed for the developed countries. Now, students, we will see the comparison in the three sectors. Primary, secondary and tertiary sectors in India. Students, one graph is given here. This graph shows the production of goods and services in the three sectors this is shown for 2 years, 1973 and 2003. You can see how the total production has grown over the 30 years. Now with the help of this graph, now we can see that share of agriculture sector has decreased and that of tertiary sector has increased. So here the change we have seen. But what is the reason behind these changes? Let us discuss. In the graph, students, we have seen that the changes are taking place. The changes we have seen that has taken place from 1973 to 2003, that the sectors in that the GDP by primary, secondary and tertiary sectors, in that the changes we have seen. So students, let us discuss why these changes are taking place. Over the 30 years between 1973 and 2003, while production in all the three sectors has increased, it has increased the most in the tertiary sector. As a result, in the year 2003, the tertiary sector has emerged as the largest producing sector in India, replacing the primary sector. Students, in the graph we have seen the rising importance of the tertiary sector in production. Students, let us discuss the reasons behind the rising importance of the tertiary sectors in production. Now students, the first reason, in any country several services such as hospitals, educational institutions, post and telegraph services, police stations, courts, village administrative offices, municipal corporations, defense, transport, banks, insurance companies, etc. are required. These can be considered as basic services as it is provided by the government to us. In a developing country, the government has to take responsibility for the provision of these services. Students, as these services increased, so these services has given the employment to the people. The people are engaged in these services. Second, the development of agriculture and industry leads to the development of services such as transport, trade, storage and the like. As we have already seen, greater the development of the primary and secondary sectors, more would be the demand for such services. Students, as we discussed that three sectors are working in the Indian economy and they are interdependent on each other. If one sector is developed, the effect can be seen on the other sector. So, if agriculture and industry is developed or it is developing, so effect can be seen on the tertiary sector. As it gives support to these sectors, it is getting more and more work also. Just like transportation, trade, storage, these kind of activities are promoted because of the development of primary and secondary sector. Primary, that is your agriculture sector, and industrial sector, that is secondary sector is also called industrial sector. Now students, the third reason is high income, more services. As income levels rise, certain sections of people start demanding many more services like eating out, tourism, shopping, private hospitals, private schools, professional trainings, etc. You can see this change quite sharply in cities, especially in big cities. Students, as people are getting more income, so they need more services. For example, they want to go outside, they want to do more shopping, they want more luxurious life. So the high income increase new services. Next reason is, that is the fourth reason, over the past decade or so, certain new services such as those based on information and communication technology have become important and essential. The production of these services has been rising rapidly. Students, as science and technology is increasing, it has given way to more services. So it is also one of the reasons for the rising importance of services, as nowadays we are using mobiles, we are using computers. This is because of science and technology that has increased the demand. So students, here we have seen the rising importance of tertiary sector. However, you must remember that not all the service sector is growing equally. Service sector in India employs many different kinds of people. At one end, there are limited number of services that employ highly skilled and educated workers. As we talked about, that in developed countries where education level is high, so mostly people are engaged in tertiary sector. The requirement of being employed in the tertiary sector, that is, a person should be highly skilled, educated and trained. At the other end, there are very large number of workers engaged in services such as small shopkeepers, repair persons, transport persons, etc. These people barely manage to earn a living, and yet they perform these services because no alternative opportunities for work are available for them. Hence, only a part of this sector is growing in importance. You shall read more about in the next section. So students, here less people are employed in tertiary sector, and those are employed, they are not highly paid workers. So the requirement is high education, skill and training. Share of sectors in GDP. Students, here one graph is given. This graph presents percentage share of three sectors in GDP. It shows the changing importance of the sectors over the 30 years. Students, in this graph we have seen the data of 1973 and 2003. In 1973, the share of the tertiary sector in GDP was about 35%, which increased to more than 50% in 2003, or we can say 50 to 60% in 2003. Over the 30 years between 1973 and 2003, while production in all three sectors increased, it has increased the most in tertiary sector. Now the GDP share, we have seen that it has increased in tertiary sector. So that kind of change we have seen in this graph. Share of sectors in employment. Now we have compared the GDP. Now we are going to compare the employment. Students, a remarkable fact about India is that while there has been a change in the share of the three sectors in GDP, a similar shift has not taken place in employment, as in graph 3 it is shown. Graph 3 shows the share of employment in the three sectors in 1973 and 2000. The primary sector continues to be the largest employer even in the year 2000. Students, graph 3 shows the change, but that change is a nominal change. It is observed that there has been a nominal change in the primary sector in the field of employment. The percentage share of employment decreased from 72% in 1973 to only 61% in 2000. So this change is a nominal change we have seen. when we compared the employment, students, now we will see unemployment. Where are most of the people employed? Students, why didn't a similar shift out of primary sector happen in the case of employment? It is because not enough jobs were created in the secondary and tertiary sectors. Now, unemployment we will discuss here. Students, before this, just we'll talk about the graphs we discussed. In that graph, we have seen that GDP increased, but in the same way, employment has not increased. Though industrial output or the production of goods went up by 8 times during the period, employment in the industry went up by only 2.5 times. The same applies to tertiary sector as well. While production in the service sector rose by 11 times, employment in the service sector rose less than 3 times. Here students, we have seen increase in the GDP in tertiary sector, but in the same way, we have not seen the increase in the employment in tertiary sector. As a result, more than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector, mainly in agriculture, producing only a quarter of the GDP. In contrast to this, the secondary and tertiary sectors produce three-fourths of the produce, whereas they employ less than half the people. Does this mean that the workers in agriculture are not producing as much as they could? So students, here we have seen the wastage of manpower because of disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment is mainly taking place in agriculture, that we'll discuss. Now, what is unemployment, students? Unemployment occurs when a person who is actively searching for employment is unable to find work. That is the situation of unemployment. Students, mostly people, they face unemployment in our country. Now, mainly in agriculture, people are facing disguised unemployment. Now, let us see what are the different kinds of unemployment. That is seasonal unemployment, disguised unemployment, structural unemployment, cyclical unemployment, fictional unemployment. Students, now we will see what are these unemployments. The first is seasonal unemployment. The unemployment which generates due to the variation in seasons is called seasonal unemployment. This kind of unemployment is mainly faced by the farmers in rural areas. This next is disguised unemployment. Students, here it is. When more people are working than required is called disguised unemployment. What it means that there are more people in agriculture than is necessary. So even if you move a few people out, production will not be affected. In other words, workers in agriculture sector are underemployed. They are facing disguised unemployment. The next is structural unemployment. When the economy fails to generate enough jobs, it is called structural unemployment. The next is cyclical unemployment. What is cyclical unemployment? The unemployment that is because of depression of an economy is called cyclical unemployment. Students, cyclical unemployment results when the overall demand of goods and services in a country cannot support full employment. It occurs during the period of slow economic growth or during period of contraction. So students, it is related to the depression of a economy. Next is frictional unemployment. When unemployment happen because of transferring from one job to another. The period between changing job is called frictional unemployment. Once I want to repeat, when unemployment happen because of transferring from one job to another, the period of between changing job is called frictional unemployment. When we are changing the jobs, that the period between is called frictional unemployment. So students, in this way we discussed some of the types of unemployment. Now students, in the last, test your progress. Students, let us recall what we discussed in this chapter so that it will be easy for you to give the answers of these questions. Students, here some questions are related to part 1 that also I discussed with you in the starting. Now what we discussed in this chapter, once we will recall, in this part we discussed the gross domestic product, the historical change, rising importance of tertiary sector, the condition of primary sector, tertiary sector and secondary sector we compared. We have also compared the GDP in the sectors. We compared the employment in the sectors. And then we have seen the condition of unemployment and different types of unemployment we discussed. Now after that, some questions are here. That is, classify sectors on the basis of their economic activities with examples. As we discussed earlier, what kind of economic activities are taking place in the three sectors. Why is tertiary sector also called service sector? What is GDP of a country? Who has undertaken this task of measuring GDP in India? What is historical changes written here? What is historical change have been brought about in primary, secondary and tertiary sectors? Why is the tertiary sector becoming important in India? Explain. So students, these are some questions. I hope you can do easily. So this is today's part 2. Thank you.